Is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day, and welcome to episode 15 of Sunday Morning Conversation, where we talk to content creators and business owners in the TCG space about cards, content, and everything in between. If you want to be on a future episode of Sunday Morning Conversation, feel free to message me in the description below, or I'll have my Instagram. You can message me there. We have a little bit of a different guest. Usually we've been talking to mainly just smaller sellers or bigger sellers, but we have our first business owner of an amazing product that we're going to be talking about. There's been a lot of buzz or whatever the word is about it recently in the interweb. So we're going to talk about it and everything we can get from there. So let's welcome Mikah, owner of Sortswift, to the podcast. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. I didn't realize that Sortswift was a thing for as long as it has. I thought it was something that was relatively new because it seems like every other day there's some new fascinating tool that optimizes sorting or listing or sifting. And then I found out you had been around for quite a while in terms of the card world. So before we get started, maybe just kind of introduce yourself, what you do, the business you run, and
So of course, I'm Mikah. I also run my own local game store. That's kind of what started us on this whole spiel of Sortswift and why it exists. I guess I can kind of start back of what started it all. I had bought a Glowforge way back in the day, and then used that Glowforge, did a Kickstarter, had a really successful Kickstarter, raised over $150,000, and we made card drawers. We sold at least 3,000 units of those card drawers, and then we
wow.
turned that into buying a giant laser cutter, which you can't really see; it's off screen over there. But that thing costs more than my Tesla does. So we now use that to make bigger card drawers, and then that turned into everybody knew how I was because they said, "Oh, I'll just go to Mikah, get some card drawers. I'll go to Mikah, get some pack dispensers. Mikah can make me this display for something." I started becoming the guy in the industry of, well, if you can physically make it, Mikah can design it and make it for you. So that turned from physical CAD into software, right? So then I met Devin, who's our main developer, and we kind of worked together and started out. Devin was teaching me stuff here and there, but he's the main developer. He does all the hard back end stuff. He started teaching me. This was a little over 2 years ago now, and I needed software because I was on Binder POS at the time. Binder POS, when they got bought by eBay, they started going downhill. Everybody knows that. So I needed tools for the store immediately, right? So we started making our own. It was a rough uphill, and then we built the software to like a standard I would use, right? It's something I need, and if I need it, I'm sure another store's going to need it, right?
Sure.
So we built all these tools, thinking about card stores, and then all the smaller hobbyist people were like, hell, well, I want to use this. So I made smaller bundles, and then we started targeting like a free plan. We started growing into entry level plans and trying to make it where you can start free. You're just now starting out. You don't have very many product. You start free, add stuff. Okay, well, I'm selling cards now. I can go up a tier, right? Now I've got room for 10,000 items, and it's all designed to scale. As you scale. The whole system is a la carte. You're not. Everyone calls it nickel and diming, but in this industry, to kind of give some perspective about our pricing on that aspect, anybody that isn't charging a fee, like for the bigger name companies, they're charging you $2,500 a month. They're charging you $850 a week. They're charging anywhere from $500 to $5,000 a month for no fee. And our plan, and none of those, by the way, have scanning.
Correct. Yeah.
So our system is max $500 a month, and that includes unlimited scanning. So, but all these other plans that we do, so like you could start out free, you could add on just eBay and use our system for like $13, and it's all built so we can price each individual area to how much compute or how much processing or anything that it actually uses, and scale that to, you know, more features and not have to restructure our entire price algorithm or price scheme because, well, it's just a new feature. We can add it in, throw it in a bundle, whatever we need to do. That's kind of how we tried to structure it. So we're still the cheapest. Um, Technically, I know Card Uploader's $10 a month. I know TCG Automate's like 10 or 15, but I can't compete with that. You know, there's no
Sure.
automation. You know, there's no Kubernetes network backend that auto scales and enterprise level backend. So it's not automated on those other platforms, and that's the main gist of Sortswift
Sure.
and where it is and how it's built and all that fun. How it's targeted, right? So it was built for entry level and the end guy that has 18 employees, which we have quite a few stores that actually do have quite a few employees. Once they get to that point, there's whole staff accounts and expansions and all that fun stuff that you can always add on.
Yeah, the a la carte menu, I was able to, you know, someone took a screenshot from me. I don't know if that's illegal or if I'm going to get lawyers sent after me, but that's a really awesome aspect of it, I think, because I would wonder what your opinion is on this. Is I'm of the strong opinion that especially people who are very brand new probably shouldn't even mess with most of these things until they've been doing it for 3 or 6 months. Just, you know, even if you have all the automation tools, you're still going to be doing stuff manually to some extent. And if you aren't going to like it when you don't have the tools, you're still not going to like it when you have the tools. And having a la carte system where you can kind of slowly piece together the bigger and bigger aspects of what you're offering is a good thing. In your experience, when you first started to now, what would you suggest to the new person? What they should do when it comes to going for technology enhancements to their business?
So the easiest way to go is just jump in. It's always going to be one of those things of it's scary, you know, stepping back, you know, just looking at it like the haunted house, right? A lot of people enjoy going in haunted houses. You stare at the outside, you're like, oh no, this is too scary. I don't want to go inside. And then you actually go in and you actually enjoy yourself, right? It's kind of the same concept with our platform. It's a haunted house, right? There's so much going on inside that it's daunting to everyone, right? But the whole platform has been built in a way of, well, John over here wants to price his stuff at $5 over cost. Jerry over here wants to price his stuff at 5 cents under cost, and he only wants to sync to here, and he wants to sync to there, and he wants his title to be different from this guy's title structure, and there's no way for us to make it not daunting, but also fit everybody's, you know, categories, their schemes. um, so the best thing I can say is just do it. Right, start small, start on the free plan, even on ours, and you don't even have to use our plan, but do something to start building an inventory, but do it on a platform that lets you move around freely, right? So like there's platforms out there that you can't export from. You're stuck there forever, and that's another thing that's scary about chaos, right? If you end up wanting to leave a platform, how are you going to leave that platform if you don't know where the stuff is, right? So there's platforms out there that lock you in, you know.
Yeah.
You're forced to use their specific structure, their specific location structure, their hierarchy, all that. Our system, it's just stored on the specific item. Every card in the inventory is itemized, so even if you left our system, it's one export and you still have that location data. You can still go find cards off that file. It's all thought about the customer because we're building something nice. We know it's nice, and if somebody wants to leave, we're not going to hold them hostage. It's their data, right?
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not going to delete it. We're going to hold on to it in case they ever come back. You export it. There's your locations. You could still run your entire store off of Chaos, off of the file that we give. That's how in depth it is. So I can just say, try it, and you won't be stuck. You can add as much inventory, manually price it all you want on our free plan, and just try it.
Yeah, I think that honestly, of all the small Discord I have and some of the people I've talked to that don't know much about Sortswift, that was probably the biggest thing that came up is like, hey, if you have all of your information in the hands of a third party, that could spell disaster. But knowing now that like you said, it's not going to be held hostage. You just do what you can. If you decide to jump ship or experiment, do whatever, you can extract that information and do what you want, and then come back at any time. I think that's probably a really good one up for anyone who would be, on the fence of trying it. My main thing of being on the fence of it is the chaos sort. It's just maybe it's just because I'm of an older crowd. My brain just really likes the organization of set sorting and whatever. Is chaos sorting inherently baked into the fabric of how Sortswift works? Is there an option to still do the traditional alpha set sort? And is there a is it more difficult to do one versus the other, or is it completely just on the preference of the person?
It's completely up to the person on our system. All locations are in our system is a second internal comment / remark, right? So each item on our system can have a custom image. It can have its own cost. It can have its own internal remark, which is what we call locations, basically. It can have a public comment and custom front and back images for that specific item, right? So whenever you actually add those items to inventory, you can choose not to put a remark on it and just do it set in A to Z. Like all the pick lists support set in A to Z. You could do a hybrid, not give it a remark, and then have some stuff be chaos. So you'll have anything with no remark over here, and on our pick list, it's going to support sorting by remark and then set in A to Z. So you'll sort by remarks first, pull all your chaos stuff off the top. Anything with no remark goes to the bottom, and you just go to your old picking system and pull that stuff out that's normal set in A to Z. So I think our system is one of the only ones that actually supports like a hybrid level um, sorting system like that.
Yeah, that's yes. I've been slowly doing more on eBay, but I have definitely been a TCG stan when I first started, more because it was just easier just to be able to just vomit all my cards on there without having any pictures or whatnot. But as a direct seller, even if I were to ever start Chaos, I think Chaos sorting and Tcgplayer Direct are the best, the oil to water thing. Like I don't know that those things would flow well in your experience. Do you know anybody who is using your software that is indirect that has had issues, or is that something that still has information
I know there's a
needed?
few that are using direct. I couldn't name them off the top of my head. I just feel like I've seen them talking in our Discord. But to give you some more aspect on direct, we also have in our pick list a direct sorting method. So if you would have remark and then you have direct sorting method after your remarks, you can still hybrid that system, right? So you'd have your direct inventory on the bottom half sorted in direct, but you then run into problems of like trying to keep those separate in our inventory.
Sure.
So it's still the oil and water thing you're talking about. They still kind of need to be separate. I
Sure.
think, in my own opinion. So
Now, as far as Tcgplayer as a whole, I don't know if this is correct or not, but I think I heard that as of right now, pretty much all sites, eBay, Manapool, etc., all have like API uploading, with the exception of Tcgplayer for the moment. Are there any other sites besides Tcgplayer, especially of the bigger ones or the more well-known ones, that don't have the ability right now, or is it pretty much the only one?
Tcgplayer is the only one. I mean, they won't give API access. They don't want our sellers basically, and that's saying a lot because we have over probably 700 or 800 sellers using our system. I know for a fact we have at least 468 as of today active paying subscribers, and then there's probably half that many, if not a little bit more, using just our free plan. So there's just for Tcgplayer. Because the free plan supports Tcgplayer, the Chrome extension, 2,500 items, and 500 free scans per month. So you can do a lot on that if you just sell on Tcgplayer.
Interesting.
So, I mean, the system itself can do Card Trader, eBay, Manipool, Misprint, Shopify, Square. Let me make sure I'm not missing any.
Channel Fireball on there?
I think so. Let's see. Card Trader, eBay, Manipool, Misprint, Shopify, Square. We're working on Walmart, and I think WooCommerce is ready to go into beta.
Wow.
We also have an inventory API like endpoint that people can call to see their inventory levels that we're working on releasing soon too. So
Why do you think Tcgplayer wouldn't want to give that up? Because I feel like it's one of those things where I could understand maybe some resistance, but if it's going to net that many more people coming through your site at the cost of a percentage point or two over time, that number that they would make on the end is going to be so much more than now. Like what is, as someone who's been doing this and worked with other companies, like what is the hang up there?
um so I don't think it's eBay specifically. I think it's just Tcgplayer wanting to dig a moat and then dig the dirt out from inside the moat as well. So then
Yeah.
the, there's there's absolutely no reason, right? So there's a few companies out there, and it's all a who you know basis, right? So there's a new company coming out. They have Tcgplayer API access already, just because they've been dealing with Tcgplayer API on a different aspect for like 15 years.
Mm.
Um, Crystal Commerce was one of the original investors of Tcgplayer, so that's why they have API access. Binder POS has API access because Tcgplayer owns them. So there's really no reason they want to give it to anyone else, and it's because it'll affect their original investors. It'll affect their actual company. If Sortswift was given API, I don't think there would be a reason to go any other platform, and I think they know that. Because if you can sync to Sortswift on Tcgplayer, which we're building something that is within their terms of service for doing a sync, but it's it's not full API. It's not like official API. And even if we did get API, Tcgplayer has terms of service and contracts and stuff that you have to sign that says, well, you can't make your own marketplace if you get this API access, which we've already got a marketplace developed, right?
Sure.
So I don't know if anybody knows about this, but Sortswift is developing a marketplace called LGS Market,
Oh.
and it's going to be Tcgplayer on steroids. Like every store connected is going to be able to have their own just buy list. Somebody's going to be able to paste a buy list and browse all stores' buy lists. Says, oh, this store's closest to you. This store's going to offer you the most money. This store is the fastest, or here's a hybrid of there's also the ability for like buy offers. So users can come in and offer, well, I want to buy this card, but I don't want it until it hits $5. They can set up a notification. When it hits $5, they get notified, and then they can go buy it. On the seller's end of that, the sellers are going to be able to see the price points people are wanting to buy cards at, right? So there's going to have the option of, oh, well, I'll just sell it for $5. It's $5.50. I'll go in and send them an offer, just like eBay does, but it's kind of reverse. They're putting in one offer, and then it sends it to all sellers, and then those sellers can say, yeah, I'll take that. There's a whole bunch of stuff we're doing on this marketplace that's good for both, like
Sure.
integrated shipping, right? So buy shipping on platform.
So you have integrated shipping in Sortswift?
We have integrated shipping in Sortswift. We also subsidize the first 25 labels, right? So it's tracked letters. Of course, a regular letter is 74 cents now. We're subsidizing that and basically paying an extra 5 cents on that for anybody that orders it for their first 25 orders every day. So you get it for basically 69 cents, as well as having it tracked. So that also helps all the smaller sellers too. They get cheaper shipping just by using our platform as well. And it's all integrated except for Tcgplayer, because they won't give API.
Yeah.
But we made it kind of easy. When you ship a Tcgplayer order, there's a export tracking button that you just go upload to Tcgplayer to get the tracking numbers sent over. So
one more question about Tcgplayer, because I want to talk to more about obviously you and your thing, but do you, I've started to think as Tcgplayer has started to kind of roll out like new features. Every time they roll out a new feature, it just seems like something that someone's already done 6 to 12 months ago, and they've already done it better. Um, is
Mhm.
there a scenario where maybe, if Tcgplayer doesn't get their stuff together? I know they have the sifter coming out, and that might do things for them, but it almost seems like it's just like a member of the old guard that if they don't really make some really really serious improvements and get on par with a lot of the other places out there, that it may just be an ancient relic, at some point in the future.
I think if they don't start playing nice with people, it's going to fall apart. Absolutely. Um, and then we'll come back to this video in a few years and say, he was right. But especially when LGS Market launches, right? It's going to have every supported game catalog on there. We're going to also throw on video games. We're going to throw on Warhammer models, Citadel paints, anything that a LGS store is doing is all going to be on LGS Market. The only limitation for LGS Market is they'll have to have a sales tax license to actually sell on the platform. And we're going to have full on like vetting. So we're going to have secret shoppers. We're going to have stuff that goes through and buys stuff from sellers. If they start swaying from actual proper packaging, they're going to get a strike. They're going to get warned, fix how you're shipping stuff. And then if they quit following it, then they'll have to be disabled. It's one of those things of now you got to go back through onboarding. You got to get vetted again. Make sure you're shipping your stuff right. Um, and then there's also going to be other stuff like Seller Plus. It gets discounted fees. There's going to be Collector Plus, gets like better cash back and stuff like that. If we wanted to expand out, it's kind of something that needs to be done.
I think the vetting process is something that is very underappreciated, might not be the right word, but when you have some other selling platforms out there that are a little more known for having some shadiness of just being able to just have like someone come on and sell willy-nilly, and not Tcgplayer, but like your mobile platforms. But even with Tcgplayer, you don't really need any vetting. You can just go on there and start selling cards, and you just don't know what you're going to get sometimes. Now, obviously, there's a big negative to doing things wrong, so that kind of keeps people online for the most part. But having a overhead or oversight of there's some finite rules that you have to keep in track with, and if not, then not only are you going to be booted, but you have to go through the whole training process again. That sounds like a very enticing reason to possibly join the Sortswift team, because then you have like a solid backing of people who are going to have your back. I know with my job too, with pharmacy, it's like there's a policy in place of how you're supposed to do things. You have to count pills in a certain way. You're only allowed to have so many things on the counter to help prevent errors. And as long as you toe that line, nothing bad's ever going to happen. So once you have this up and running, and let's say there's an error that goes wrong, or maybe there's someone who has a seller who maybe has an issue, but the buyer was overemphasizing what happened. What's that going to look like when it comes to not battling, but like I can't even think of the word, but like if they wanted to come to you and say, hey, this isn't what happened, is how's the process going to be, and having that reviewed so that way a seller doesn't get dinged for something that really didn't happen or happened to a lesser severity.
So our system also, like, since we're so in depth on Sortswift side, we actually developed our own like ticketing system, our own in system chat, our own like help AI chat bots. That everything about Sortswift is custom. We don't have any like third party system like Zendesk to do tickets, right? We built our own ticket system. We don't have any third party, chat bot that just compiles stuff that you feed into it. We built our own that reads from our own knowledge base, right? So that comes into the marketplace aspect of we've already got our own custom ticketing system. We've got our own custom chat system. Why don't we just middleman, talk to the buyer, talk to the seller? There's no bias. There's no arguing. They're talking to the platform itself and relay back and forth. You're like, hey, well, we need some pictures. We'll forward these onto the seller. And if there's no reason, like if there's no ask, like, oh my God, this is somebody ripped this package in half, the seller's going to always say, oh, well, yeah, I guess that happened. So let's take care of this customer. It's always going to be seller and buyer. Like it's not, well, the buyer is prioritized or the seller is prioritized. It's always got to be both. Like there's got to be this
Sure.
balance. Um, and right now on, I know for a fact on Tcgplayer, if I just say, "Oh, this arrived damaged," well, send me some pictures. Nope, that's against terms of service. Um, you can't ask for pictures on Tcgplayer because that violates their rights or something. If something gets damaged, you need some evidence of the damage so you can file a claim with your carrier. Like
Yeah.
it's and then having to send them a package to mail it back in. Oh my god, I'll send you $1 to go buy 100 envelopes from Dollar Tree, right? It's
Yeah. Yeah.
I shouldn't have to mail you an envelope in an envelope to send it back to me, and that's a Tcgplayer policy too. It's just it's all catering to the buyer, and if the buyer is buying cards, they should
Yeah.
have letters on hand to send them back. It's just there so
It's
many things
insanity.
going wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but to
It's
answer your question,
yeah.
there's a whole ticketing system and everything on the back end to manage all of that. There's chats, there's escalations, everything is all custom developed on the back end.
So I apologize. You said you had how many members? Roughly around 800.
Well, if you want to count members that are actively using it, if I look
Yeah.
in the bottom right corner, we've got in the last 14 days, there's been 965 people logged in. 49 additional are logged in now, and 30 are idle. So there's 79 people actually on the website, and 965 additional. So over 1,000.
So what's going to be the approach, especially once you have the marketplace up? What's going to be the approach to within reason and how you're going to be able to grow that? Because I think one of the potential turnoffs to someone who was going to be joining a marketplace that if it's a marketplace doesn't have a lot of people on it, then it's going to defeat the purpose of having a marketplace. So, what are
Well,
some things that you're looking forward to growing that and try to get people in to be there for when that eventually launches?
so one of our main goals, right, is there's things we're wanting to do like promotions for like a launch period. However, launching a marketplace is really expensive. We're talking seven figures to actually do it right. I know we don't have seven figures, so we're gonna have to figure out how to do it in a way that prices it in a way that buyers enjoy and a way that sellers enjoy. Um, like buyers like discounts, sellers also like discounts on fees. So if there's a way that we can mix that, like a buyer gets a 5% off or something, and we also say, okay, well, that we'll just knock that off of your fees. That was that discount, and then some like we pay to cover that discount in some way. That's kind of the direction we're going. Either 0% fees on the sellers or like a discounted fee on the seller, and then also surfacing a discount on the buyer. It's
Mm,
just it's hard to come up with some nice structure that's gonna appease both sides, right?
sure.
Buyers are harder to acquire than sellers, and I think that's why buyers are more focused, right? It's why everybody wants to take care of the buyer because they're harder to acquire than sellers are. But I mean, with Sortswift already having all these sellers and all these people signed up wanting to sell on the platform, I don't think that sellers are going to be a problem. I think it's going to be buyers. Um, and honestly, if we start talking about it more, because we've kind of been keeping it on the down low,
Sure.
maybe sellers sign up for the notifications, right? It may be some big launch, and all of a sudden we go viral because we launched a really nice marketplace. It's just we'll see.
I mean, it's already starting happening now. I mean, what'd you do? Just do like a six-figure ad campaign to get everyone talking about it in the last
I don't.
last week
I
or
haven't.
two?
I haven't paid a penny. I swear.
Uh,
Uh, the only thing
Micah
we've
just
done, like,
sitting back in the shadows, clicking his fingers.
right here's some. I'll throw all this money out here.
Yeah. Well, but that's a testament
No,
too to like how good of a product you have, you know? I mean, I say that not ever using it, but when you have the amount of people who are starting to talk about it now, even in the tiny little corner of the internet that we're in, generically, I think that for me, someone who's on the fence on jumping ship or maybe even trying it. And those who have been there for a while, I think that speaks to just the validity and the way a company is when that just happens generically and you don't really have to put too much effort into putting it out
Well,
there.
to give you some aspect on ad spend, we only signed up for a Google Ads account last month. Actually, it was this month. And we started paying for some ads just to spend the free ad credit that they give us, and then we were probably going to turn it off. But I haven't seen much increase from the ad spend on that, more than I have, somebody talking about it, right? Like Phantom or like TJ always talking about us using this in his workflows. I believe there was another one. Ava has started talking about us. There was a short mention of us in RAR TCG's video. And then I saw the video about that you posted about us. And everyone is saying that it's just a big marketing push that we're doing. When in reality, everything that we've done has been word of mouth, except for the Google ads that we signed up for this month.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing a lot out of those, honestly. So we're probably going to end up just turning those off and continue back with the word of mouth aspect. So, and when it comes to YouTube people wanting to use our system, sure, I'm going to offer a discount, right? They're promoting us, help them. It's just how you pay people who talk about your system. They're trying to help you help them. It's just fair, right? It was something about Phantom. He had to post a clarifying video because he's getting the system for free way back in the day, and he's not lying about this. I offered him a large amount of money per month just to use our system and give it to him for free, and he said no. So he wanted to use Card Uploader, and I was like, you're gonna regret it. I will pay you to use it so you don't have to deal with it later. He's like, I'll use Card Uploader. So it's it's not that I'm trying to pay people. That's the first time I've ever offered anybody any kind of money just to use the system. And I knew Phantom was gonna do something, right? So but here we are.
Yeah, well, I think anyone who's being honest with themselves, I mean, if they were in your position, I mean, they would do the same. I think it's just, that particular person who might make that negative comment isn't in that position, so they maybe feel a little jilted, like, oh, this guy's, got a YouTube channel, so he's getting but he put in the work. He started a channel. I know making YouTube channels not everyone's cup of tea. It still isn't mine to a certain extent. There's still some days where I don't want to, make a video, but it's part of the business, and
if
but
you guys ever find my gaming channel, don't make fun of me, but it's out there. I have not.
That could be
not deleted it.
That could be an advertising thing. If you find my YouTube channel and send me a screenshot, get 5% off or something. But yeah, man, it's just, it's too many people nowadays, when they see one thing, they automatically jump to some crazy conclusion, and it's insane. And honestly, thinking about it while we're talking, I'm probably gonna give it a shot, but because I don't want to say hate. I'm trying not to say the word hate so much. I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh at all. So I'm thinking that because I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh and I don't know anything about chaos sorting, I might just download the free version just to experiment with chaos sorting on a game I don't know. That way, if I really royally screw something up, it ain't gonna be that big of a deal. And then once I get my feet wet, if I like it, then just kind of a la carte my way through and work up from there. Which might be a good suggestion for you guys out there, man. If you guys aren't 500 free scans is nothing to bat an eye at. So if start slow with something you don't know to give it a shot, and then you can piece it out from there. Because everything I'm hearing now that I'm hearing it from the man, I'd be lying if I didn't have a little more confidence in making at least giving it a nice college try. Because the worst thing that happens is you just don't like it and you didn't spend any money.
Well, the best part about the scanning recognition too is people can just use that of our system, right? You don't have to use anything else. You can just subscribe to scanning. That's the best part about a la carte. And to also add some more stuff in there, we have a bunch of free like CSV tools just for having an account. So you can reprice CSV files. to upload to Tcgplayer. You can use our Swift ad page, which basically, if you're just opening boxes, you filter to that set, and then you just start typing card numbers in, right? So if you got Pokemon, you filter to the whatever new set comes out. Start typing card number 152, 15, 12, and if you ever run across like a foil, right, you just type 12 star. If you have 5 of the same card in your hand, you type 12.5. There's other stuff like if you wanted to mix and match it, or you do light play, like you found a light play card instead of all the near mint defaults you're inputting, you would type 12L, and then you can mix it. You go 12L star dot 2, right? So that's 12 lightly played foils, and card number 12 lightly played foil, 2 of them. So it's just a simple enter the card number, and it makes Yu-Gi-Oh so much faster for entering too. Yeah,
the set symbols, the social security number size set. I that's the only reason why I never mess with it, because I hate it.
Yeah, and I can agree, because when I tried scanning Yu-Gi-Oh on the Tcgplayer app back when it was good, I say good, but when you use ours, I've actually tried to tune that as much as possible. Like our card recognition is the best in the industry, and I know I'm the one saying it, but we have hundreds of people that are saying it in our Discord, right? So there's, people have used Rokas, people have used the Fizz Batch, people have used what was the other one, Cardbot, and they're all comparing. They're like, well, I've tried Cardbot, I've tried Roka, I've tried Scan and Identify, and they every one of them that I've talked to say Sortswift recognition just stomps all the other recognition that they've tried. And I let me give you some ideas of why, right? So
sure,
Magic has foil detection. It also detects the alternative arts. It also detects the secret layers, the weird niche promos. Pokemon reverse holo detection. It also detects prize pack detection, Shadowless, XY evolutions. What else was there? First edition. All that is detected on promo, and it picks the right variant and all that fun stuff. Yu-Gi-Oh! First edition detection. There's really nothing different about Yu-Gi-Oh! Except there's a first edition version, right? Unless you're looking at one of those like weird rarity collections that has like 17 printings of the same card. Nobody's going to be able to find those, right? But we've got something in there that tries. It may not do well on it, but it tries. And then there's also One Piece, and the way ours is built, all the other companies that train on the data, they're reading from the picture that has the giant word sample over the middle. Our system is unaffected by that. So you scan the card, and then we also try and figure out which alternative of the card it is specifically. So One Piece has the best recognition. Lorcana has foil detection on it too. I don't know if I've built in Star Wars foil detection. If not, it shouldn't be too difficult to build the foil. I think the problem on Star Wars foil detection, I think the foil is on the back or something.
Interesting.
It was weird. I don't know on Star Wars. I haven't actually seen Star Wars, but a Star Wars foil anyways. If somebody wants a card game on our system, it's 2 days to build an entire card recognition. I'm not going to snarl and say, oh, well, I need some data or something. There needs to be a need for this card game for us to add it. Like, somebody wanted Final Fantasy TCG scanned into the system. I had it within 2 hours. So if it says anything about our card rec, it's the most versatile and the most powerful at the same time.
So all these cookie run nerds can get on there, and
as soon as it's on Tcgplayer, it is done.
That's awesome.
So
we
had
foiling
card recognition before Riftbound was on Tcgplayer. If that
oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah,
that's crazy. You honestly, the biggest thing, and I've talked about this before, is I do Pokemon mainly. I'm starting to do other stuff, but the first time I did reverse holos through Scan and Identify, I did 1,086 cards or something, and I was like, okay, this should be no problem. And then I went 1,086 cards were undetected, and I was like, all right, I guess we're just doing this manually because I'm not going to, because the process, if anyone's used Scan and Identify before, the process of changing a card is miserable. Not only is it take long to do, but half the time when you do it, it doesn't register and you have to do it a second time. Even in the update they have where it's a little more like, I'm only using Card Loader as an example because I haven't used your site yet, but with Card Uploader, it's literally just like image, you have a menu, boop, done. And it's like, it takes forever. And Card Loader Uploader is really the only other system I've used where the accuracy is at least decent enough for reverses and hollows where, you can go through them at a reasonable pace. But would you say on a percentage basis, like 100%, 99%, 98% when it comes to the average success rate?
So the ones that I've been doing has been 100, but you're gonna always run into a niche thing
Sure.
of, well, the legalese say, oh well, it's not a perfect 99. It's
99.999%.
yeah. There's gonna be issues, but they're few and far between.
Sure. Hey,
Uh,
as long as all my magic cards don't have promo pack symbols listed on the
oh yeah,
AI version.
there's promo pack version detection too, so it detects
That's
that
what's up.
stamp in the bottom right. I forgot about that, and list detection, all that fun stuff. It's all implemented for Magic. And if you ever run into a card that we didn't detect as foil, all you have to do is press Control. It's foil now. That simple. And if it ever forgets, like it doesn't catch the list, all you have to do is press L. You don't have to scroll through the list of alternatives on the left. If you want to, you can, but there's keybinds to do, like promo pack. If it forgot to detect promo pack, you press P. If it's a pre-release card, you press O. If it's a list card, you press L. If it's foil, you press Control. If it's a lower condition, you press down. If it's right, you press enter. If it's wrong and you don't feel like correcting it, just hit delete. It's just all in that little general area.
Yeah.
So,
Lots of little quality of life things. I like it. I would be killing myself if I didn't ask you about this beautiful giant blue machine that says Super Sorter. I don't know. I don't think it's on the market, but maybe give us a
it
little.
is.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, we've
10 bucks,
delivered
20
12,
bucks, 40
12 of those
bucks.
machines.
Okay.
It's 25,000.
Got it.
But it's also it's cheaper than a fizz batch, but it does 29 bins, and we're sitting at around 3,000 to 3,200 cards an hour. It can do a full A to Z sort. It can do price sifting. It can do color sorting, type sorting. Since we have this entire database on our back end, it makes sorting more powerful.
Sure.
It integrates into Sortswift where it can load your pick lists. So if you pick your cards, you throw them in the pick list mode, it sorts them out into their order stacks. If you want to reload chaos locations, it loads your locations on the machine and refills the one that needs the most cards all the way up to the one that needs the least cards. You put them in their bins after verifying, of course, and then scan another batch. There's also chaos mode, which adds new locations on top of the ones you already have in inventory. So it'll scan 100 cards into a bin, another 100 in the next bin, another 100 in the next bin. Unless you do 50 card bins, and you just sell it 50, 50, 50. Built in a repack mode. I've also been working on a deck builder mode, since we're building like our own deck builder on the website, because we're building our own storefront that's also going to replace Shopify. So we've got the mobile app that allows users to build decks and store decks in the mobile app. It's just a web app, and it's got synergies, it's got mana curve, it's got all of that built into the app. I'm working on building that into our storefront, but I also was like, well, synergy works well. Why don't we just build a deck in the machine using bulk, make it build a stack? It says, okay, this card synergizes with this deck the best. And then it goes, okay, boop, and then it starts building decks with your bulk.
That's insane. That's
so
pretty cool.
Yeah, there's so many endless possibilities with that thing, with an entire card store behind it, right? So it can also check your inventory levels. It can say, oh, well, you only have 3 of these and you always want to have 8 on hand. I'm going to just scan this and put it. You already have 30 of these. I'll discard those. right? And then you just sell those off as bulk or something. And you can also assign like values, right? So anything over 5, I still want more than 30 copies of, and
Sure.
it'll do that. And it's been a long run. I mean, we're also building. I just launched the Super Sorter Mini Deposit, which is basically this machine but shorter,
Gotcha.
right? So that it's only going to have, it's like this big with 3
Is
bins
it
on it.
is it between the mini and the super sorter? Is it? I'm assuming it's only going to be able to be used with Sortswift software. I'm assuming.
No, and so you can export in any format.
Okay.
There's an export builder. You customize the exports on Sortswift, and that machine loads the formats that you've built. And then you can email them to yourself. You can load the sessions into Sortswift and export them in whatever format you want. Of course, you still have to have a Sortswift subscription to use the machine, because it's just a scanning subscription is all that's required. You don't have to have the inventory and all that other stuff, but the scanning subscription is needed to run it. You can still access and export a binder POS export from that machine. You can export a Tcgplayer inventory export from that machine. It's fully versatile. You get emails when something pauses, when you're out of cards. There's timers to give you an estimate of when to come back and check on it because of how many cards are left in the hopper. Like it's not a stupid machine. There's a bin on every single screen, right?
How could it be stupid? It's blue. Blue's a smart color.
But yeah, there's a screen on every single bin. So you see that right there?
You know what those look like to me are like Baker cells you'd see in a hospital. For like pills, you just everything's got their own little counter and own individual counter, its own little chute that you put cards in. Yeah, that thing it looks. Is you have leasing options for the bigger and smaller size, or you haven't messed with that yet?
No, we haven't gone that direction yet because there's such a long line of deposits that have been put down. People can pay if they're in the deposit line as much as they want, as often as they want, and once it's paid for, we build it and deliver it. We've hand delivered every single machine that we've built so far, just because they're 7 foot big. I haven't figured out how to palletize this yet, and it's not really been a focus. The focus more has been make it awesome. Right?
Yeah.
So we've got that. We want to make Sortswift awesome. There's just not been time to sit down and design a crate design.
Sure.
Of course, I could do it. It's just, do I want to spend 2 weeks on that specifically right now?
Yeah, that time is definitely the more and more I keep getting into this, the more and more I realize that I never thought there would be a mark below no time, but there's like I had time, I have no time, and now there's this like I feel like I'm running negative time all day, every day. Every now and then someone will ask me to stay at work, and it's like, no, I need to go home and I need to do this stuff now, and they'll be like, well, it's only like 30 minutes. I'm like, you don't understand, man. It takes me 30 minutes to record and edit a video. It's going to take me 30 minutes to pack orders. It's going to turn me. And I'm just some NPC pleb in a room that lives by myself. I can't imagine having a family and employees and being, I guess, semi-intelligent. You seem like a 5 out of 10 on that scale. Joking, obviously. You're obviously a bright guy. So like having all these other things going on, to spend time on something that might be a necessity down the road and not be focusing on everything else. It's I don't even want to imagine what type of gymnasium that is in your brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got a wife and 2 kids. There's a lot going on over here. Plus family time. Plus we're buying a house. Plus we're doing this. But it's imagine.
Yeah. So one thing, before I ask you the last question, I just thought about this. When it comes to my idea with the whole starting with Yu-Gi-Oh, do you have to use Sortswift's integrated shipping, or can it strictly be utilized as a inventory system and then still utilize the shipping on whatever site that you'd be selling on?
You can sell whatever platform you want to sell with whatever shipping you want to sell. You're not locked in to do anything on Sortswift. If you don't want to use our scanning or you don't want to use our shipping, use your own label, paste it in, it'll automatically update it on the platform for you.
So does that mean if someone wanted to spend $500 and just not use it at all, that they could do that?
If they want.
Literally no handcuffs, guys. Literally 0 handcuffs. You can do whatever you want. Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
There is a handcuff. Once you load the wallet, you can't pull it out of the wallet.
That's okay. It's good to know. No refunds, no exceptions.
Well, I mean, the refunds on the plans, but if it's in the shipping wallet, I can't really pull it out of the shipping
Gotcha,
wallet.
gotcha.
You know?
Well, I don't want to keep you all day. I appreciate the time again. Is there maybe anything I didn't ask, or anything that you want the people to know about you, the product, or anything that that might really hammer it home for someone to give it a shot, whether it's the free plan or the Mega Deluxe Ultra Premium plan?
I will point one more thing out, and this level, of personalized calls, we do this every day. There's book a call on the website, call and chat with me, and it's always me, unless I get so busy I have to hire somebody to do it. But I don't know if anybody can talk about the system as in depth as I do, so I don't know if that's going to be anytime soon. But the system also is built to be fully custom for users. So like if somebody has a problem, if somebody says, "Oh, it'd be great if I could stop pushing this specific kind of variant on Shopify," open a ticket, we build it, you have it within a day usually. If it's like an in-depth feature request, something it's like, well, I want to completely connect to WooCommerce and I want my pictures all to be upside down. We're going to have people, vote on that. Like we've got a feature request section where people can vote and say, "Oh, I'd love this feature," or I'd hate this feature. But if it's just a simple, I just want this toggle that makes my screen purple, it's not hard. Somebody wanted fully custom like themes on the website because they're colorblind, and I had no thought about color blindness on when we were making the themes. So we built an entire accessibility color blindness theme for the website. And then also I was like, well, we'll go one step further and we'll let people completely custom how the colors appear on the theme entirely. So if the colorblind themes aren't good enough for you, you can make your own custom theme on the website.
Yeah.
And I did play an April Fool's joke on everybody this year. I made a custom cursor on the screen, right? So whenever it really threw people off, so I had to make it less jarring. But I made the cursor, whenever you load our screen, the cursor just started spinning in circles. And the point was in the same spot, so you knew where you were clicking. It was just rotating around that point.
That's awesome.
And
Did
they're like,
you get any requests saying, "Hey, Sortswift, could you please do a thing to where my cursor does not shake"?
I had so many bug reports reported that day. They're like, "Why is my cursor spinning?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'll make it less." So I just made it wiggle like this on the point, and then
that's awesome.
For some reason, people still use it because I don't know. Here, I'll just show you. Like this. This is what it was doing.
Oh yeah, that's great.
That was my April Fool's joke to everybody. I don't know if it's gonna focus.
Yeah, no, it shows it perfectly.
Everyone complained about that, so I made it do this instead, where it wasn't as weird.
First one's better.
Yeah,
but still,
that's funny. But yeah.
That's awesome. So just to be sure, because I'm sure someone will ask, when it comes to these quality of life things they're reaching out to you, is there a charge for those, or is it's an idea? If it's something that's implementable, you just do it, and that's part of the package that you get for having being part of the Sortswift family.
So, honestly, we have not charged a penny for. Have we charged anybody for a feature request? We have not charged anybody for a feature request currently. We put in there that we would quote the feature requests. If it's not something that's widespread that everybody wants, if it's for one specific person and nobody wants that feature, sure, we're probably going to charge for that. But if it's just a simple, I want this button moved half an inch to the right, we're not going to charge for that. It's stupid too, but
yeah,
that's something that just comes with Sortswift. Tell us what you want. We're more than willing to at least look into it or at least build it, just based on complexity.
That's what's up. Well, I mean, I was already kind of on the fence, but I think I've already kind of moved towards at least giving it a shot with the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. So I'm excited to see what I can do with that and then kind of go from there. And like he said, I'll have the links to all of his stuff in the description. So, The few people I've talked to said that this is kind of how it would go. And I've, not that I'm anyone with some crazy stature, but I've been really impressed with just how easy we've talked about it. Not really. The one thing I've learned is the amount of ums and ahs when someone's trying to describe or sell something to you often is not necessarily a good thing, but the amount of information that has been put out there without no resistance, and the transparency of which the things are, I think those are all just really good ingredients to knowing what you're going to when you're getting in with a product or a company. So,
Yeah, to kind of expand on that transparency, for our tickets, right? So we have our fully custom ticket system. Um, when you're opening a ticket, you can see exactly how many tickets are opened in that specific category, what status they're in, how many tickets we finished in the last week, how many are in their state of waiting on the customer to confirm that they're fixed. Um, we're completely transparent about all of that. So like for right now, there's currently 11 bug reports, which I'm going to have those finished out today. But if you just go through there, that number is usually down to like 4 or 5. And honestly, I tell people to start submitting stuff that they want me to improve instead of a feature request as a bug report, because feature requests aren't flooded in our system like they used to be. We have to go to a separate section on the website now so that way we can focus on bugs. And with more and more people joining, more and more bugs start popping up.
sure.
Somebody's going to find something. And I want to point one thing out.
Yeah.
There is somebody in our server saying, "Well, just ship it without bugs." And I'm like,
okay.
sure, I'll get right on that. Right? It's not possible. There's no way. It's gonna happen. And when you fix one, 2 more are gonna crop up until you start getting all the other, like a slime in Minecraft. You're gonna kill it. It's gonna break until you get to the last bit of it, and then it's gone.
Yeah, it's definitely a progress over perfection kind of thing. I mean, it's just as close as you can keep it to homeostasis as possible without too many things going wrong is going to be the most ideal situation pretty much in everything, but especially technology, which I have no knowledge of, and I don't have the temperament for it. But yeah, man, that's
I can say the early days were definitely buggy. And especially while we were having scaling issues because there's so many people swapping over. And this was, when did we do Kubernetes? A year ago? It was about a year ago. We were really having to scale up. And when we scaled up, things just went haywire. Like there were things left, there were things right. And it was just scaling issues, growing pains. And it was excruciating growing pains. It was a big growth spurt, and you grew 3 inches in a week. It's all past that now. So if there's any, feedback online or something, well, Sortswift is too buggy. I think they were in our early days.
yeah.
Because we're way past. We've only been in business a little over 2 years. That sounds like a long time, but also in this business, most people, they've been in business for way longer than 2 years, right?
Sure.
So for where we are in 2 years, I'd say we're doing a pretty good waves.
Well, not only that, but like it's I've always been a fan of and I've talked about this before when it comes to just card customer service. It's like I would much rather have the person. I don't want the guy who's perfect. I want the guy who, if something goes wrong, they have a plan to fix it and it gets fixed. That gives me more confidence in what I'm investing in versus the guy who is always right or everything's perfect. Because usually that means everything's not perfect and they're just doing shortcuts or masks to cover up those things. So, yeah, I think that's just really good to know. So I appreciate you mentioning that because I think that might rope people in just based off that. But yeah, man, I really appreciate
the most transparent that's out there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I appreciate your time, man. I know you got a couple cards back there. You got to sling in some envelopes. So before we leave, just if you want to, tell people where to find you, and we'll make sure we throw it in the description below and let you be on your day.
So we've got our YouTube channel. It's just at Sortswift. I'm going to be posting a lot more videos on there as soon as I get a little bit more time and solid on, okay, I think this page is finished because I thought scanning page was finished. I made that video and I've rewrote it since then. Right. So there's a lot of moving parts. You can find us on our YouTube. Discord, honestly, if you ever want to just chat with us or anybody that's using it, the Sortswift invite for Discord is just Sortswift, all one word. And then you've also got our book a call link, which is just on our homepage. You just click book a call. It'll take you to a call booking link, which shows you all of my available times to just come and chat. And it's not a sales call. I'll talk about anything they want to talk about, Sortswift related, of course, unless, they want just some advice on how to or why, or I'm not going to say, well, you should do this instead of this. It's I'll guide on a chaos system and stuff like that, but I'm not going to say, well, drop binder and join our system right now because XYZ. It's, well, what questions do you have? I'll answer all your questions. And there are people that just join calls. They says, okay, I've got 10 questions. Here's my questions. I answer them. They're like, okay, thank you. That'll help me make my decision. That's the end of the call. That's how it works. It's not a, well, I'm there, I want to sell it to you. I'm actually there to listen and answer questions. That's what the point of calls are.
That's what's up. All right, guys. Well, that was Sunday Morning Conversation. I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by. Make sure you check all the links down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.